It's only one night. A man may die.
Well, whose fault is that?
Do you think maybe if we went over it again? What I mean is that I would like to go over it again. I would like to have everyone's undivided attention.
I don't mean to digress, but I feel as though the boy did indeed kill his father. Let's just think. No one told him to kill his father. Like someone forced him, right?
I don't think that has anything to do with what we're talking about.
Yes, no one forces anyone, but please, listen.
Pardon my intrusion, but I really must be going, for I have other arrangements. I cannot help but wonder if no one else agrees with me.
I believe we all have homes or arrangements to get to. Well, let's all take turns speaking because everyone is talking at once, and I feel as though we are getting nowhere.
Yes, I agree with that. Would you please proceed?
I have a proposition to suggest. How about we call a vote? 11 men vote by secret ballot. If there are 11 votes for guilty, I won't stand alone. We could take the verdict now.
Yes, I agree with that.
Guilty. 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 Not guilty. Guilty.
What do you know? Who changed it? I think we have a right to know.
Excuse me, this was a secret ballot. We agreed.
I know it was a secret ballot, but could that one person explain why they voted that way? It would help us all get a better understanding.
I know who it was. What's the matter with you?
Hey now, there's no need to start pointing fingers. Let's just sit down and discuss our options. If the juror doesn't want to reveal himself, that's his right.
Look, buddy, it sickens me how you can vote guilty and change your vote just because of one man.
It was me. I changed my vote.
I want to ask you, what made you change your vote?
This gentleman's still alone against us. The vote is 10-2.
That's an interesting perspective.
Thank you for sharing your point of view with us. Alright, good break, fellas. As we take our seat, let's think about how long it takes an elevated train going at top speed to pass a given point. Take a look at the sketch.
I'm a bit confused as to why.
We are trying to see if there's reasonable doubt that the old man's testimony was impossible. Did that help clear it up?
Ah, I see. You cleared it up a lot. Thanks.
What do you think?
I think about 10 or 12 seconds maybe.
I'd say that was a fair guess. Anyone else? I would think about 10 seconds perhaps.
Alright, say 10 seconds. What are you getting at?
An L train passes a given point in 10 seconds. That given point is the window of the room in which the killing took place. You can almost reach out the window of the room and touch the L, right? Alright, let me ask you this. Did anyone ever live right next to the L train tracks? I have. When your window is open and the train goes by, the noise is almost unbearable. You can't hear yourself think.
Okay, you can't hear yourself think. What do you guess it up more?
Wait, do we all agree that it is hard to hear yourself think with an L train passing by? It is settled then. The majority of us believe that it is hard to hear yourself think with an L train passing. Now let's continue.
Thank you. The old man heard the boy saying, "I'm going to kill you," and 1 second later, he heard a body fall. 1 second. That's the testimony, right? The woman across the street looked through the window of the last two cars of the L and saw the body fall, right?
Right.
An L train takes 10 seconds to pass a given point, or 2 seconds per car. That L had been going by the old man's window for at least 6 seconds, maybe more, before the body fell, according to the woman. The old man would have had to hear the boy say, "I'm going to kill you," while the front of the L train was roaring past his nose. It is not possible that he could have heard it.
What do you mean? Sure, he could have heard it.
How could he? If we established that the noise level was enormous enough to block your own thoughts.
She said the boy yelled it out. That's enough for me.
Now, I don't think he could have heard it. The facts are not solid enough to prove his guilt.
What are you people talking about? Are you calling the old man a liar?
It's our duty to use all our knowledge in this matter.
You're crazy. Why would he lie? What's he got to gain?
Attention, maybe?
You keep coming up with these bright sayings. Why don't you send one into the newspaper? They pay $2.
Why might the old man have lied? You have a right to be heard.
It's just that I looked at him for a very long time. The seam of the jacket split under the arm. Did you notice that? He was very old with a torn jacket, and he carried 2 canes. I think I know him, better than anyone here. This is quite frightened, insignificant man, who has never had recognition. His name in the newspaper, nobody knows him after 75 years. That's a very sad thing. A man like this needs to be recognized, to be questioned, and to listen to, and quoted just once. This is very important.
And you're trying to tell us he lied about a thing like this just so he can be important?
He wouldn't really lie, but perhaps he'd make himself believe that he heard those words, and recognize the boy's face.
Well, that's the most fantastic story I've ever heard. How can you make up a thing like that? What do you know about it?
I speak from experience. Alright, is there anything else? Alright, let's get on with it.
Now, there's something else I'd like to point out here. I think we proved that the old man couldn't have heard the boy say, "I'm going to kill you." But supposing he really did hear it, this phrase, how many times has each of you used it? Probably hundreds. "If you do that once more, Junior, I'm going to murder you. Come on, Rocky, kill him." We say it every day. That doesn't mean we're going to kill someone.
Wait a minute. The phrase, "I'm going to kill you," and the kid screamed it at the top of his lungs? Not many people scream it at the top of their lungs, so he must have meant it, literally. And how they mean it.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you really think the boy would shout out a thing like that to the whole neighborhood to hear? I don't think so. He's much too bright for that.
Bright? He doesn't seem like the brightest person, especially coming from where he is.
I'd like to change my vote to not guilty.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay, there's another vote called for. I guess the quickest way is to show a wave of hands. Anybody object? Alright, all those voting not guilty, raise your hands. 9. All those not voting guilty, all those voting guilty? 3. The voting is 9-3 in favor of acquittal.
I still believe the boy is guilty of murder. I'll tell you why. To me, the most damning evidence was given by the woman across the street who claimed she actually saw the murder committed.
That's right. As far as I'm concerned, that's the most important testimony.
Alright, let's go over her testimony. What exactly did she say?
I believe I can recount it accurately. She said that she went to bed about 11 o'clock that night. Her bed was next to the open window, and she could look out the window while laying down and see directly into the window across the street. She tossed and turned for over an hour, unable to fall asleep. Finally, she turned toward the window at about 12:10, and as she looked out, she saw the boy stab his father. As far as I can see, this is unshakable testimony.
That's what I mean. That's the whole case.
I'm not sure if I completely understand why you want to vote for acquittal. What is your opinion on the matter?
What do you mean? He's absolutely right. You can throw out all the other evidence.
That was my feeling. What time is it?
10 minutes of 6.
It's late. You don't suppose they'd let us go home and finish it in the morning? I got a kid with the mumps.
Not a chance. Pardon me, can't you see the clock without your glasses?
Not clearly. Why?
Oh, I don't know. Look, this may be a dumb thought, but what do you think when you wake up at night and you want to know what time it is?
What do you mean? I put on my glasses and look at the clock.
You don't wear them to bed, do you?
Of course not. No one wears eyeglasses to bed.
Well, I was thinking, you know the woman who testified that she saw the killing wearing glasses?
How would her wearing glasses influence anything?
Look, stop me if I'm wrong. This woman wouldn't wear her glasses to bed, would she? Wait a minute! Did she wear glasses at all? I don't remember.
Of course she did. The woman wore bifocals. I remember this very clearly. They looked quite strong.
That's right. Bifocals. She never took them off. She did wear glasses. Funny. I never thought of it.
Listen, she wasn't wearing them in bed. That's for sure. She testified that in the midst of her tossing and turning, she rolled over and looked casually out the window. The murder was taking place, and she looked out, and the lights went out a split second later. She couldn't have had the time to put on her glasses. Now maybe she honestly thought she saw the boy kill his father. I'd say that she only saw a blur.
How do you know what she saw? Maybe she's farsighted. How does he know all of these things?
Does anyone think there's still not a reasonable doubt?
I think he's guilty.
Does anyone else?
Nope. I'm convinced.
It seems that the evidence has convinced everyone else. Why hasn't it done the same for you?
I don't care. I have a right.
You have a right.
Well, I told you, I think the kid's guilty. What else do you want?
Could you please tell me why you feel that way?
I already told you why.
Please, just go over it with us one more time.
Listen, what's the matter with you? You're the guy. You made all the arguments. You can't turn now. A guilty man's gonna be walking the streets, a murderer. He's got to die. Stay with me.
I'm sorry. There's a reasonable doubt in my mind.
We're waiting.
Well, you're not going to intimidate me. I'm entitled to my own opinion. It's gonna be on a hung jury. That's it.
We understand that it is completely your decision to make.
Everyone else disagrees with you.
It takes a great deal of courage to stand alone.
All right. Now,